Satnam, everybody! Really good to see you. So some of you went to Satnam Fest, huh? Woo! I really missed being there this time, but there was definitely family things I had to tend to. And this beautiful yogi that was out there, Almandeep, he's going to be here tomorrow. Did anyone go see him?
Yes.
What was it like? Is he
amazing? Fabulous, fabulous.
He's fabulous.
People just raved about him. They were just they just raved. I didn't go, but
So
He's very different.
that's, yeah, whenever I've experienced him, like even the way he tunes in, there's just this different thing about the way he does it, and he brings in Shiva, and he's just, I mean, he's got big energy, and he also really, I think he deeply understands these mantras and what they are coded to do, and even though he's so out there, he can really explain them in as simple terms for you. And what you start to realize is like even the tiniest bit of a mantra is just like, oh my God, there is so much there for me. So we're lucky. He's going to come and see us tomorrow at 1 p.m. I sent him a text. I don't know, so we'll talk about that, whether we can take him. But anyways, we're very blessed. He'll be here at 1 p.m. tomorrow till 5. So we're going to do a Kundalini workshop. And it's going to be on mantra tomorrow. So I think it's going to be amazing. So he did other things at Satnam Fest. So he's going to do something different with us. So I'm so glad we're here together today. We are going, I've been reading this book by Yogi Bhajan called The Mind. And this is what Guru Nanak says. He says, Manjate Jagjit, which means by conquering the mind, you conquer the world. So we're really going to be working with that today. And one of the things about the mind is, like, you know, I'm really going through a thing with the loss of my brother. You can't, it isn't going to help to be positive with your negative, right? Otherwise, you're just in the conversation with your mind. It's just going to loop. It's just going to go, this is what's good, this is what's bad, and it goes back and forth, okay? So I think we all feel at some points that we're somehow sitting in the energy of the mind and subjected almost to it. Like it's randomly thinking, and we're kind of stuck with it. And Yogi Bhajan really wants us to reframe that. That's not the position we have to be in. It certainly is the position we could be in if we don't do this Kundalini yoga and do some things to change the way that looks. And so rather than feeling like we are sitting down here being bossed around, we want to expand. That's why the aura is so important. We want to get into the neutrality and the power and the beauty of the soul. The soul is not shocked by your mind. It's been in thousands of minds before. You are no different than the rest. You know? But sometimes we don't tune into that part of ourselves, right? So there is inside. And I really want to get graphic about it, because that way you can, feel it tactilely, like, oh, yeah, that's how it feels. So inside, we're going to do some work to really feel the power of this neutral, beautiful, and the thing about the soul is innocent. That's one of its greatest powers, innocence. And that's so interesting because the soul is eternal. It's ancient. So how did it hang on to being innocent? The innocence comes from being right here, right now. That's where the innocence comes from, because The soul is not like a mind that goes, remember, like in the 1400s when the Pope, blah, blah, blah. You know, because the soul was there. I mean, it could totally do that if it wanted. It just doesn't. Because no matter how horrifying or wonderful that moment was thousands of years ago or yesterday or 2 weeks ago, it's not what's happening now. And it is of real no use for you. But here's what, so the mind, I think it's so, we are in such an amazing time because of computers. The human being is so cute. We're just so freaking cute. We create things to better understand our souls and the dilemma of us. So we have created these computers trying, like the soul's like pounding its hands like this to understand what this mind does. It is simply an input system when not disciplined, when not ruled by the soul. So input is always coming, it's always cycling it and filing it and putting the negative things here and this and that. And you know, even the positive mind, when you're really feeling sad, it does a positive thing. Oh, let me show you all the other times you were sad. I've got a whole file on that. Wait, you know? And it's trying to be helpful. And you're like, what the fuck? That is so not helpful right now. But it's a computer, and your computer does that. And just like when we don't clean up our computer, what happens? It gets viruses. It starts to do strange things. It malfunctions. It's the same way with our mind. So we're going to do this Kriya today to really it's called getting into the command seat. We want to be the soul to be kind of calling the shots. And one of the biggest ways the soul can do that is to show the mind its vastness. And then the mind begins to relax. And the thing of the mind, it is so powerful, but it also can tune in to the universal mind. And now you're thinking different. But we have to calm down the negative thoughts and the suffering. And the only way to do that is by, in this practice, pranayama, breath, and mantra, and movement. Putting our body, mind, and soul in this practice this morning, you get to go on a little ride. And a lot of it, like especially that breath of fire, you can feel how not only does the prana start to pulsate through every cell and clear your mind, but it massages the heart. Because the heart can't be at its full potential communicating with your mind if it's scared, if it's constricted. So that breath of fire right in the beginning takes your lungs and it starts going like this. Over and over and over to your heart. And your heart's like, and it gets happy. And when that happens, you've got the juju. You know, I love this practice. It works every single time. So here are some things that Yogi Bhajan said about the mind. He says, the mind is your best friend or your worst enemy. There is nothing without the mind, and there is nothing with the mind. Whosoever controls the mind controls the entire psyche of the universe. For all your troubles, your own mind is responsible. For all your successes, your mind is doing it. So what I love about that is it goes both ways, right? So when we are the victim of the mind, that's the troubles. That's the suffering. I mean, the Buddha said it too, right? There will always be troubles in life. Suffering is optional. That is your, where do you want to put your attention? So we're going to work on this and really heal our minds. It's really important because this is how we're going to help the children, and this is how we're going to heal the world and ourselves. This is the Aquarian age. We need enough energy. And so one of the things, like, when you don't do this work, you know, even in the big book of AA, I love this. There's this part where upon awakening, it says this whole thing about how you turn your life over to God and blah, blah, blah. But there's this one part, it's so Kundalini. I think that Bill W. was doing Breath of Fire. I'm just saying. I really think he, like, tuned in. But it talks about how that if you don't turn your mind over to a power greater than you, that you are going to waste time and energy in gossip, this and that, and worry. But I love the way he said it. It wasn't like some moral issue like you shall not, you know. It was like you're just going to waste a lot of energy and be exhausted. That's it. That is really all that matters. Your worry, it's like, you know, if it worked, if there was like, I'm so glad I worried this lifetime, it helped me so much. I would so encourage you, but that is so not going to happen, right? And we all know, right? How many times, I mean, I know I do. I worry about things that have never, ever happened. Ever. Especially with money. I've never not been able to eat. Now, I'm very blessed, but you would think that I live in a little box sometimes with my cardboard door or something. What in the hell? Why do you think like that? It's just a bad habit. And then we do and like really think of it like that, like worrying about the kids or worrying about, it's just a habit, you know? And the mind is very creative. You know, it's like when you were younger, the reason you couldn't get a man is because your boobs weren't big enough. When you're older, it's because you're old. When you're thin, it's because you're too thin. When you're fat, it's because, you know. The mind will just do the calculation. Oh, God, she'll totally go for this one. Tell her that. It's super duper smart because it's always collecting data. And if you look, I mean, it's hilarious, right? Because you know after a few years on the planet that it was all bullshit, right? It always had just the perfect angle that you had to believe. It's not true. So as we move into this, the biggest thing is, though, it's Satnam. So as we clear the mind, it's not like the truth comes barreling in. It doesn't. Space does. And unless we become disciplined, that kind of freaks us out. Because what we're hoping for is, hallelujah, you know? And that's just the positive mind. You know, that's just the opposite of your worry. So that's not it. What happens is, shh. And we do this practice so we can get used to that feeling. It's like being able to hear the center of the universe. It's this deep, loving, sincere quiet that has everything you need. We just are afraid to hear it. But we get really brave by doing this practice. You know, that's one of the biggest things Yogi Bhajan talks about: courage, containment, consolidation. It's just practice. Let's do it, okay? So we're going to start the class. How many people are new? Welcome. Thank you for coming. So I do have mantra sheets if you want them. There are several mantras we say in the beginning every single time. So if anybody wants them, you can get them. So the first one we always do is right here, the second one, Ong Namo Gurudev Namo. And this is very wonderful to have this mantra, because this practice, Kundalini Yoga, when it came to the actually in India too, Kundalini Yoga could only be taught by a master. So you're out of luck, bye, so we can't do it. Oh, it turns out we can't have a class. So Yogi Bhajan tuned into that, like, what am I going to do? And this is what came through, is this mantra that he'd been chanting in his practices, Om Namo Gurudev Namo. So by chanting that, we now call in the master. We tune in, not only to the master on high, but the master inside. That's why you do that. That sets us up to be in this perfect situation to get the best and highest energy in here. So Kundalini Yoga is different than Hatha. I would try to explain it to you, but you know, it's just best to experience it. So bring your hands together. Let's rub first. Take a deep breath. And then exhale. Hands into your heart. Exhale. And as you press your hands together here at the center line of your being, be grateful. Really breathe into knowing your mind and your body, your life, this moment is exactly the way it's supposed to be. See if you can imagine the outside edge of your skin kind of softening, the ends of your nerves illuminating and calming, your heart slowing down, your mind opening. Breathe into this sacred space. Just really honor this morning how your soul fought very hard to get into a human body. There are all kinds of realms in this universe to learn. This is the place your soul wanted to be, inside of you, in this time and space. Because you are the most perfect, beautiful situation in which your soul knows that it's going to expand and grow and illuminate more than it has in all of eternity. You're the one it chose, you. Feel that sweetness, that love inside of you that it has for you. Loves your personality, loves your little quirks. And let the mind feel into the soul right now. Invite your mind to trust the love of your heart and the purity of your soul. And let's do that by tuning in with Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Inhale.